Hello, welcome to Scrap Time, episode 882. My name is Christina. On today's episode, I'm showing you the Dylusions Ink Spray Pad. Today I am showing you the Dylusions Ink Spray Pad, and this was one of my favorite new products from CHA Summer, and I'm going to show you how you use it. So even though there's some color on the front, the pad is actually clear. It's just the nice foam pad, and this allows you to use your different sprays to spray it on and make your own little ink pads. So to start, what you want to do is spray it first with water. Now because this is a new ink pad, we want to really get that water, you can hear this foam, down in there. We want to squish that water in so when I spray the ink on, it will absorb better into the ink pad. So I'm going to be using lemon zest, fresh slime, and calypso teal. And you start with your lightest color. So I'm going to spray the lemon zest. Then I'm going to put on a bit of green. And now a bit of blue. So you can see I've left splotchy areas, because I want all those colors to come through. I didn't want it all to be a blend of one color. Now because this is a new pad, the next step we want to do is turn it upside down and sort of squish the color into the ink pad. And we have a little bit of ink here, so you can take a tag. I've got some little tags just to soak up that ink. No use in wasting the ink. And I like to do these little tags and then I put them on gifts. So that's why I like to use tiny little tags. Of course you can do big tags, you can do watercolor paper, whatever you want. I might just soak up one more and then sort of cute, and now I'm going to rub it away. So the initial purpose of this ink pad was so that you could stamp with it. You can always put sprays on your craft sheet, but then it's really wet. So this allows you to stamp with without that excess of ink. So I'm using a piece of watercolor paper here. This is the new Distress Watercolor cardstock from Tim Holtz. It is the size of an A2 card, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So you can do your little fun stuff here and then just glue it onto a card. And I am using a stamp from Diane's Basic Backgrounds. I like this stamp set. I like the numbers and the alphabet. Really basics that you can use over and over and over again. So before I stamp my card front, I actually want to test this on a tag to make sure it has enough ink or not too much ink. So I'm stamping it in and then stamping it onto my tag here. And you can see I had my stamp had a bit of orange on it. It's even in the ink pad there. But that happens. And then I'll just stamp it here. So you'll see we get some nice, that's a nice amount of ink, so I can continue on with my card. So now I am going to do it on my actual card. So I stamp in there and then stamp on my card. So my ink there is fairly light, but because I'm doing a background, I'm good with that. If you wanted more color, you just need to spray more into your ink pad. And I have turned my stamp around. So there, I think that's a cute little background to a card. You don't want it too bold if you're putting stuff on top of it. But as I said, if you want more color, you just have to spray more color into the ink pad. Now I'm going to just show you one that I had previously put ink in. Now because these aren't sealed, they're not airtight, what happens is they dry and some of the ink will what do you call it? Go into the air. So you can do a couple of things. What I like to do is first off you need to re-wet it, so I spray it. And you see by spraying it, I've activated some of that color. So where it was really soft, now you can see that orange coming through. So before I spray more color onto the ink pad, I take a stamp and I test it out. So you can see I still have color there. So when you go back to use your ink pad, you may want to just test it first before adding more color to it. It might be fine just the way it is. And if you wanted more color, then you just take the same colors and spray it. Now if you don't want to buy a whole pile of these, you can take this out and wash it in your sink and then spray new colors on it. But personally, I'm hoping to get a few just so I can keep reusing it with some of my favorite color combinations. And I'm going to show you what I made. Just going to take off a bit of this excess. So here was the art journal page I made, and you can see the orange and pinks and that coming through. Some had a lot of color, others was softer, but it gives a really nice background to your art journal page. But I also wanted to show you that even if you don't art journal, this is great for card making. I took this same idea that I made in my art journal page. I used this butterfly, I think it's from Prima, that resist. I sprayed it. I had a doily that I sprayed. And then I used a stamp here for happy birthday. And so even though I do it a lot for art journaling, a lot of these techniques can then be for card making as well. Well, that's it for today's episode. Be sure to check out our website at www.scraptime.ca. And on our next episode, I'm showing you Wendy Vecchi's new translucent embossing pastes. So please join us. Thanks for watching Scrap Time.